The second part of what they say is, don't you care if we drown? Implied in that statement is that Jesus is somehow obligated to help them. In the first statement, they say, Jesus, we know you're capable, but specifically here, here's the obvious outcome of what's going to happen next, and it sure seems that, you should be able to take care of this. Oftentimes, we obligate God to save us from the things that we are struggling with. But now would be a good time to remember the story of Paul in that shipwreck. Paul was in a very similar situation, right? In a ship that was going down, apparently, because of the storm around it. But even though he was an apostle, he was a follower of Jesus, arguably a more faithful follower than these disciples, his storm didn't get calm. Jesus didn't speak through Paul and say, quiet, be still, to the wind and the waves. No, the ship broke up and the tackle was thrown overboard and all the possessions were lost. All that got through were those men who were on the boat. And I think that's the place where this idea that Jesus is going to get you through the storms of life gets ultimately shipwrecked. See, Jesus doesn't promise that if you're going through something difficult, there's going to be a brighter morning that's coming, a better day, some greener grass that you're going to get to in this life. Sometimes the ship falls apart. Sometimes your life leaves you with less than you wish you had in a place that you wish you weren't. Just like Paul. But the promise is that Jesus is going to get you to the other side. See, the Christian faith is not about getting through the difficulties of this life and living your best life now. It's about getting through this life to the better life that is coming. Now, does that mean that we don't care about this life? Of course not. That's not the point of the text. The point of the text is to give you the comfort that even if what you're going through right now were to never end, even if we never got out of a cycle of lockdowns, even if you never saw your grandkids again, even if you never got married, never had enough money, never got healthy, even if nothing went right for the rest of your life, you have a certain promise that it is going to be made new. In your life, the ship may completely fall apart. But you're going to make it to the other side. Our problem is we think God is obligated to do it our way. Because we all have a trajectory for our life, a way that we think we're going to live. Can I be honest with you? I can almost guarantee God's idea of your life is very different. Are you okay with that? If you're not, then go back to the parables. Remember that this whole thing was all about Jesus from the start. He was the one who was going to plant the seed of the gospel in your heart, which he made able to receive it. He lit the lamp of the Holy Spirit in your life and put you on a lampstand to be a light to the world. He gave you the gospel so that the kingdom would grow in your heart and around you in your church. You need to hear that. Because I think many of us right now, we're worried about so many things that we have really no control over. I think about where most people are getting their ideas about what the future holds for our society. They're getting it from their favorite YouTube channel, their favorite cable news channel, their favorite Twitter handle. And I would guess that the vast majority of those places are not Jesus Christ. And what those people are going to leave out of their equation about what's going to happen in the future is the power of God to change things. If we don't factor in the possibility that God is going to work, then we're just like these disciples. But on the other hand, if we're not okay with the fact that God might not make things better, then we're also just like these disciples.